Before we start, I want to kindly thank UK Rob M for buying us a cuppa since the last video. It's always appreciated.
Afternoon. Now this week we're looking at a film from Sweden. The land of IKEA and meatballs. However, this isn't all very nice. It's not very nice at all. It's a good film, but it's not a nice film. And quite apt, it's a tale of revenge. However, this girl isn't throwing bins at police officers. You know what I mean. Don't do it, and certainly don't do anything you see in this film, because it's really not very nice. It's about a young girl who meets a man who doesn't have the best intentions, especially after what she goes through at the start of the film. You'll see, kind of. Will she get her full revenge? Will there be bedroom twister? Will it make you sick? Some of it, yes. Let's have a look.
A cruel picture? Just how cruel will it be? The film starts with a young girl running through the park, back when it was safe to do that in Sweden. After some running about, she runs into this old fella. I wonder if it's her granddad, because he is giving him a flower. After some more running about, he then spins her around in the air, because all kids love that, before it looks like he has a heart attack. Instead of the ambulance walking him away, it's the police, and somehow it also deserves a slap. Fancy getting a slap for a heart attack. Now, from this point on, the girl is mute, so shocked by what happened, which we'll discover now she's grown up, when two old ladies talk about her behind her back.
Får vi köpa lite mjölk av dig? 1 liter. Men ta över så att det kommer mycket krämde med. Det är väl för synd på en sån rar flicka. Tänk att inte kunna tala. Alldeles stum. Du undrar på det. Efter ett sånt övergrepp. Det är väl 15 år sedan nu. Ja. Men gubben som våldtog henne, han gick fri här. 5-5 kallade de honom för.
So he wasn't having a heart attack at all, which is why she's mute, because she's so traumatised. Now normally that would be a low point in the film, however in this film, it's all truly downhill from here. Now Madeline lives with her aunt and uncle, who decide to give her some time off from the farm so she can go and enjoy herself. Let's hope she makes the bus so she doesn't have to get in a car with some random stranger, given what's happened before. Surely she'd have more sense than that. Oh, you silly cow, just wait for the next one.
Kan du ge mig ett enda argument varför du inte skulle följa med mig till stan?
Well, the first reason would be that you're not a bus, but I'm sure you have very good intentions. But she's going to get in the car anyway. He looks safe.
Hej, Tony heter jag.
After a riveting silent journey, he takes her out for a nice meal. He truly is a gentleman. And plus, he's with a woman who doesn't talk. Double win. He eventually takes her back to his house because he's a gentleman and decides to let her stay there. But first he's got to go and make her a drink.
Ja, ska jag väl hämta någonting att dricka, eller?
He accidentally put some paracetamol in her drink. I'm sure he'll be fine. Also looks like he's a diabetic. Luckily, the paracetamol hasn't affected her, so she can get on with her day and disappear off to the hotel she was meant to be going. Oh dear, maybe not. I'm sure he'll call the doctor.
Och då, syster? Ja, det är Tony. Träffas doktorn? Ja, tack. Vad vänligt. Ja, hej, det är Tony. Nytt objekt, 50 kilo, helt ovan. Hur mycket kommer vi att behöva? Kan du komma upp med dosen omedelbart då? Ja. Ja. Hon sover djupt nu. Ja, det är fint. Hej.
Well, that's nice of him. He's bringing the doctor round to help her. The doctor gives her a shot of vitamin C and leaves Tony with lots of other shots of vitamin C. I'm sure she'll feel fine in the morning. However, the following morning she's not feeling well at all, and Tony's trying to make her sign a form that tells her that basically she's now his. She should probably run off.
Kopian här också. Nej. Jag behöver inte läsa. Skriv under bara. Vad fan är du på väg?
Tony doesn't want her to leave yet until she's feeling much better, so he gives her another shot of vitamin C before she can go and get the bus back to her aunt and uncle's house. After 3 days of vitamin C shots have passed, she decides to make another run for it. Surely she can get out the door now. Run like fuck, because it's only going to get worse. If only she hadn't fallen over, although to be fair he had the unfair advantage of being in the car, so he takes her back for some more vitamin C, to make sure she's feeling better for when she goes back to her aunt and uncle's house. The next day she finds a letter that Tony has written to her aunt and uncle on her behalf. I'm sure it's really pleasant.
För att ni aldrig förstod hur jag vantrivdes på den ruskiga gården. Hur ni förkvävde mig med era ruskiga beskyddarinstinkter. Jag har funnit en underbar man som har givit mitt liv en ny dimension. Jag gör allt för att glömma den ruskiga tiden med er. Jag hoppas att ni också snabbt kommer att glömma mig. För ni kommer aldrig att se mig igen. För jag vill aldrig se er mer.
This Tony's starting to sound a bit like a cunt. She definitely needs to get out of that house and not fall over this time. Unfortunately, he's got her hooked on that vitamin C, and now he's got a new job for her, and that's to greet all his guests that come in. Ah, this looks like a nice place to do your work.
Kaminen kommer om en liten stund. Var snäll emot honom.
As the accountant is on the way, she has a look round but can't see a typewriter or any indication of how she's meant to do his accounts. Maybe he's going to bring it with him.
Hej sötnos. Klä av dig nu.
Realising that taking off your clothes isn't conducive to doing tax returns, she sends him on the way. The accountant goes out and complains to Tony, who of course takes it in good humour, and it isn't at all angry. If you've eaten in the last hour, look away now. Grim. Later that evening, after a quick trip to accessorise, Madeline comes back to find out in no uncertain terms what the rules are now.
Ja, nu gör vi så här i fortsättningen. Du sköter det helt själv. Varje morgon klockan 9 får du en lista utav mig med namnen på dina kunder och tiderna som de kommer på. Samtidigt får du 2 ampuller så att du klarar det under dagen. Måndag är du ledig. Det innebär alltså att du på söndag morgon klockan 9 får 4 ampuller så att du klarar det på tisdag. Och sköter du det toppenbra så får du bonus på omsättningen. Schysst deal. Inte sant? Här är dagens lista. Du börjar om en halvtimme med disponent Anderson.
Well, at least she gets Mondays off and 4 packets of vitamin C to get her through to Tuesday. Something tells me she's going to get very, very angry the longer this film goes on. Madeline then gets visited by all her customers, and they're not just accountants. There's a photographer, then there's some more vitamin C, then there's a man practicing his first aid Heimlich manoeuvre, and then, on her day off, she goes back to visit her aunt and uncle to tell them everything. Pardon you? Unfortunately, Madeline's aunt and uncle, so sad were they by the letter they received written by Tony and not her, have ended themselves, so now she's going to be even more angry.
Det verkar ju hemskt underligt att bara de skulle bli förgiftade. Så många människor som köpte mjölk den dagen.
Ja, undrar jag.
Ja, inte häller man väl gift i mjölken av misstag inte. Undrar nog om det inte var.
Ja, efter de där otäcka breven som flickan skrev till sina föräldrar. Det hemska brev. Jag läste det sista. Tog det hemskt hårt.
After a quick chat with God and crying out of the eye that still works, she uses the money she's saved from seeing accountants, paramedics and photographers to learn how to fight and get revenge. Good girl. And before long she's throwing herself around like an angry kid in Asda. But then it's back to work, and this time a lady customer. This'll be nice. Oh dear. This is pretty much most of the remainder of the film. Learning to drive, learning to shoot, in between taking more vitamin C, and the occasional bit of vitamin D as well. The more money she makes, the angrier she gets, and the more fighting that she learns. It's like Watford Town Centre on a Friday night. Anyway, after doing some DIY on a shotgun, she sets off in her car. I wonder who's going to get blasted first. She arrives at the paramedic's house, maybe to teach him some more Heimlich manoeuvre. Yeah, I'd say he's dead. Next up on her Avon calling hit list is the accountant. You know, the one without the typewriter, who wanted her to take her clothes off just to do his tax returns. And then her lady customer. But despite running in slow motion, Madeline doesn't manage to hit that arsehole Tony. All that ruined crockery. Best get yourself down to IKEA. The next day after getting himself down to IKEA, Tony hires some hitmen to go and kill Madeline. I wonder if she'll get them before they get her. Mind them boxes, they're full of crockery. The police get wind of something going on in IKEA's warehouse, so they're on their way to pick her up. Using the skills she's learnt over the past few weeks, she girl bosses her way out of it, of course, by kicking the shit out of them in slow motion. Of course this would never happen in real life, because she's about 6 stone and about 5'5". Eventually the exceedingly slow motion fighting ends, so she decides to escape in the police car, just to make things worse for herself. Then after some convoluted bollocks that doesn't matter, we're finally here for the showdown between Madeline and evil Tony, where she can finally get her revenge on his pimping ways.
För helvete Madeleine, vad är det du sysslar med? Va? Men lägg ifrån dig bössan nu så vi snackar om det här. Det är ju bara en massa missförstånd alltihop.
It's just a misunderstanding, we've all done it, we've all got people accidentally hooked on vitamin C and turned them into prostitutes. Okay Tony.
Jävla luder! Tror du skulle kunna lura mig va? Förbannade fnaskig fick knep i den första kulan. Va? Jävla luder!
Watch out for the rocket. After shooting him in the knee, she ties him up. Then she attaches him to a horse and takes him for a walk. And then she buries him with just his head out. I think we know what will happen next. She then sits in front of him waiting for the horse to get hungry to go and get some food out of the bucket, because you know what happens when the horse will. Off with your head. But after all that, you don't even get to see it. She gets back in the police car and goes off on her way to live happily ever after. The end. Let's hope she never misses a bus again.
I told you it was grim, didn't I? Now you may notice some similarities between that and Kill Bill. That's because cinematic copycat Quentin Tarantino loved this film, and therefore just copied it, pretty much, only without all the really nasty bits. Now of course this was made back in the days when you could only have white people as the criminals, because they didn't have them back then, and nowadays they could remake it but they'd still use a white person, because you can't have non-whites as criminals nowadays. That would be racist, and being racist is worse than being a rapist. Anyway, give it a watch, and if you do, you'll notice bits that I didn't include in this review, including some very detailed bedroom twister which was put in by the you-know-whos to sell more tickets. Until next time, ta-ta for now.
If you enjoyed this video or thought it's slightly less shit than the others, you can always buy us a cuppa on Ko-fi. The link is in the description below, and thank you in advance if you do. Remember, never miss your bus and never get in a car with strangers.